Tonight, we're diving back into a life of luxury. What starts off as a simple plea for help quickly turns into something far darker. Strange behavior, unexplained noises, and something hiding where it shouldn't be. As always, we'll break down the entity involved, its appearance, its behavior, and what might actually be going on behind the scenes. Annabelle's brother, whose name is Kent, is the main antagonist and there's something wrong with her brother. At first glance, Kent appears mostly normal, wearing a dark shirt and light-colored pants, with noticeable balding or missing patches of hair. However, as the episode progresses, his appearance shifts dramatically. He is later seen as a pale white humanoid figure with long hair, hunched over as he crawls or walks in an unnatural posture. His breathing becomes heavy and distorted, adding to the tension surrounding him. The case begins after Kent returns from a work trip, noticeably different. He becomes distant, avoids speaking to Annabelle, and isolates himself in his bedroom or bathroom. He refuses interviews, locking himself away whenever Parker and Chester attempt to speak with him. Annabelle describes him sitting in the corner near his closet and staring at her with an unnervingly wide smile. On one occasion, she believes he is in the kitchen, only to find him silently standing in her doorway, seemingly speaking to someone she cannot see. His smile stretches across his face in a way that feels unnatural and forced. That night, the cameras capture Kent sitting on the edge of his bed before crouching down and whispering toward his closet. He says, "I want to so badly, it's making my tongue wet." She doesn't know I'm not him yet. He then climbs into the closet briefly, whispering again before emerging more hunched than before. Soon after, he begins crawling across the apartment, moving erratically and banging violently on Annabelle's bedroom door, while she screams inside. By the time Parker and Chester rush in, Kent has vanished. In his room, they find unwrapped, used bandages and a jar emitting a foul odor near a vent, suggesting something physical may have taken place. After the encounter, Annabelle moves back in with her parents while the family investigates what truly happened to Kent during his trip. Whether Kent himself returned or something else wearing his appearance came back in his place remains unclear. His own words, "She doesn't know I'm not him yet," strongly implied that whatever was in his apartment may have not been Annabelle's brother at all. Anna's dog initially appears to be nothing more than a large black dog, but almost immediately something feels wrong. Its movements are unnatural, slow, stiff, and awkward, accompanied by constant cracking noises as it walks. At times, its eyes reflect white in the camera, and its tongue appears abnormally long for a normal canine. While it growls and makes dog-like sounds, the pitch is noticeably lower and more distorted than expected. During the day, the creature remains idle, seemingly avoiding sunlight, and becomes visibly agitated whenever Anna turns on the lights inside the house, possibly out of fear that its disguise could be exposed. Its behavior becomes more unsettling at night. While Anna is asleep, the dog enters the room and begins licking her hand. As the groaning grows louder and more intense, the creature suddenly stands upright, revealing its true form: a pale humanoid figure wearing the fur and head of a dog as a disguise. The transformation is abrupt and disturbing. When Parker and Chester rush inside to intervene, the humanoid strips off the dog fur entirely and flees into the woods, abandoning its disguise. It appears almost disappointed or frustrated that it failed to accomplish whatever goal it had in mind. The creature's true identity remains unknown. Once exposed, it is seen as a pale, naked humanoid with a loud, screeching voice and the ability to move on all fours. Its appearance and behavior share similarities with other entities in the series, though no direct connection is confirmed. Its quadrupedal movement, unnatural sounds, and ability to mimic an animal suggest something far more calculated than a simple disguise. In terms of abilities, this entity demonstrates a strong capacity for disguise and camouflage. It was able to convincingly pass as a normal dog from certain angles and low lighting. While it does not appear to change its skin color, it can alter its outward appearance to resemble animals it observes. The exact method of this transformation remains unknown. Like other creatures in the series, it also displays enhanced speed, strength, and inhuman vocal range. Though it did not successfully harm Anna in this encounter, its patience, deception, and ability to infiltrate a home unnoticed make it a serious and unpredictable threat. The Basement Man is the main entity featured in the case involving an 18-year-old girl named Caroline. After her parents passed away, Caroline inherited their home through their will. However, she refuses to enter the house because she is convinced that something is living in the basement. She even captured footage of something grabbing her ankle while she was walking downstairs. In addition to that encounter, she reports hearing scratching, screaming, and even a voice calling her name, saying, "Caroline, come down here with me." The police reportedly dismissed her claims, leaving her to seek help from Parker and Chester. When Parker and Chester set up cameras in the house, the footage confirms that something is indeed in the basement. The area smells foul, and an unknown substance, possibly feces, is splattered across the floor. Eventually, a black humanoid figure is captured crawling across the basement floor on all fours. The creature appears to be a naked human male covered in black body paint, though the paint does not fully conceal its skin. He has claw-like hands and feet, moves in a quadrupedal manner, and emits a loud but low-pitched screech. He is visibly unhygienic and appears to use the basement floor as a restroom. As the night progresses, Parker decides to enter the basement alone to confront the entity, while Chester stays in the car communicating through a walkie-talkie. Inside, Parker hears scraping sounds before discovering the creature playing with an empty can. The moment it notices him, it begins screaming aggressively and chases him. Parker becomes trapped, forcing Chester to enter the house to rescue him. The creature continues to screech and pursue them until Chester manages to barricade the basement door with a chair, allowing both of them to escape safely. After sending the footage to Caroline, Parker and Chester state that she stops responding to them entirely. Whether she returned to the house, ignored their warning, or something else happened remains unknown. The Basement Man's behavior suggests territorial instincts and predatory tendencies, and his ability to speak and physically grab Caroline indicates he is more than just a feral presence. While his exact identity is unclear, his aggression, stealth, and willingness to lure victims downstairs makes him an extremely dangerous entity. The Black Goliath spider is the exotic creature purchased by Parker and Chester, after Chester discovers a dark website selling rare and dangerous pets. While browsing through worms and other strange listings, they eventually settle on a massive arachnid, known as the Black Goliath spider, despite a warning on the site advising buyers to keep it away from elderly people and pets. 2 nights later, the spider arrives at their house in a cardboard box, tightly wrapped in heavy steel chains, marked with the skull and crossbones symbol. The box violently shifts when handled, suggesting the creature inside is already agitated. After carefully unwrapping it, they discover a second sealed container inside, similar to previous hazardous shipments they've encountered. The spider is placed in a glass aquarium tank in the garage, weighed down with wood and large rocks to prevent escape. Cameras are set up and they go to bed. For 2 hours during the night, the spider crawls around spinning webs, before becoming increasingly aggressive. It suddenly jumps with immense force, breaking through the objects placed on top of the tank and escaping confinement. Later that night, Parker wakes to strange noises and checks on Chester, only to find the spider has sealed Chester's mouth shut with thick silk. Chester panics, fearing the spider may have laid eggs inside of him. Parker attempts to calm him down and later reassures him that he does not appear to be infected, though he plans to take him to a doctor for confirmation. Physically, the Black Goliath spider is far larger than any real-world species, weighing approximately 20 pounds. It has long black fangs, white eyes, and immense physical strength, capable of shattering glass and launching itself with enough force to dislodge heavy objects. It is revealed to be female and pregnant. Despite its exaggerated portrayal, it is inspired by the real Goliath bird eater, the largest spider species in the world. Additionally, the webbing seen in Chester's mouth was likely not egg-laying behavior, but rather the spider attempting to create a burrow-like enclosure, as tarantulas commonly line their shelters with silk. While not shown directly attacking with lethal force, its strength, size, and ability to immobilize a human using silk make it extremely dangerous if not contained properly. Emily's stalker is the entity featured in We Found a Stalker in Her Closet. The case begins when a girl named Emily reports that someone has been entering her home at night, but only when her parents leave. She captures footage of a tall figure crouched in the corner of her room. At first, Parker and Chester don't even notice it because of how well it blends into the shadows. When it stands, it appears to be wrapped head to toe in a sheet roughly 8 feet tall, wearing black boots. On camera, the suit appears white, though in person it seems completely black. Its face resembles a smooth white mask. Whether it is a mask or simply its natural face remains unclear. The stalker shows clear intelligence and planning. Despite Emily locking her doors each night, it still manages to enter her house. During the investigation, Parker confirms he checked the closet and found nothing. Yet later that night, the entity is seen climbing out of that very same closet on camera. It quietly moves downstairs before Parker and Chester wake Emily and rush her into their car. As Parker starts the engine, something violently knocks from the inside of the trunk. When they check, nothing is there. Moments later, the camera captures a glimpse of the figure hiding along the side of the house as they drive away. The following morning, they discover how the stalker has been entering, through a hidden hole in the ceiling of the closet. This explains how it was able to remain undetected earlier in the night. Its movements are extremely quick and calculated, suggesting it may have been inside the house long before being noticed. Let's go over some of its abilities. During the night, high scratchy audio distortion is recorded on the cameras. Chester suggests it may be interference, and one camera cuts out completely while the stalker sits at the table, suggesting camera interference. It moves quickly enough to potentially access the car trunk and reposition itself outside the house within seconds, implying extreme speed and stealth capabilities. And finally, concealment and infiltration. It hides in tight spaces, enters through ceilings, and avoids immediate detection even during direct inspections. The entity demonstrates stalking behavior, intelligence, stealth infiltration, and possibly electromagnetic interference. Its ability to remain hidden inside a family home without detection makes it especially dangerous. Emma Stalker is one of the more psychologically disturbing entities featured in Life of Luxury. Parker and Chester receive a report from a 19-year-old girl named Emma, who claims that at night, she hears voices outside of her bedroom door. The voices sound exactly like her family members, her mother, father, grandmother, and grandfather, even saying specific things only they would know. One voice in particular repeatedly says, "Emma, it's Mom, come out of your room." What makes this impossible is that Emma hasn't seen or spoken to her mom in 4 years. On the way to her house, Parker remains skeptical, but hopeful there's a rational explanation, while Chester considers the possibility that the voices could be coming from something ordinary like a television. When cameras are set up overnight, the situation escalates. A white humanoid figure is captured crawling across the floor instead of walking. It appears aware of the cameras and deliberately places its hand over them to stop the recording. In another room, Emma is seen awake while a distorted singing voice outside of her room chants, "Ashes, ashes, let your mother in," before screaming "now." The voice ominously says, "You'll have to let me in eventually," before the door is forcefully pushed open. When Parker and Chester rush inside, they find a man crouched in the corner of Emma's room. The man growls and chases them out. All three escape into the car. Afterwards, they state they are still trying to identify who or what that man was. In terms of appearance, the entity is first seen as a pale, white humanoid figure, with a bandage wrapped around its head. It crawls unnaturally across the floor and later appears wearing a red and yellow dress identical to the one Emma had been wearing earlier that day, suggesting deliberate impersonation. The creature is intelligent. It knows how to speak, how to mimic voices, and how to disable cameras. It communicates through growling and distorted speech, switching between childlike singing and aggressive commands. Its primary ability appears to be sound mimicry. The creature can replicate the voices of people close to its victim, though not flawlessly. Emma was able to recognize something was wrong because she no longer lived with her family and knew they wouldn't be visiting her at night. However, if she had still been living with relatives, the deception might have worked. How the creature knows these voices remains unclear. It may have observed her family beforehand, though this is never confirmed. Unlike some other entities in the series, this one does not immediately remove its victim. Instead, it seems to perform psychological manipulation, attempting to lure not only Emma, but Parker and Chester as well. This calculated behavior suggests a high level of awareness and intent. Overall, Emma Stalker is dangerous not just physically, but mentally. Its ability to impersonate loved ones and invade a private space at night makes it one of the more unsettling cases in the series. Giggles the Clown appears in one of the more unsettling Life of Luxury cases, after Parker and Chester purchase him from a strange, new dark web website that offers same-day delivery. Chester gained access to the site through an anonymous invite, which is reportedly the only way to view it. The site listed several clowns for sale: Smiley, Stitches, Baggy, Buttons, and Giggles. One of the clowns, Stitches, even had a disturbing review from someone named Her Daughter. Despite Parker feeling uneasy about how unfriendly the clowns looked, Chester convinced him to purchase Giggles for $1,300, hoping the clown would bring something positive rather than dangerous. When Giggles arrives, he immediately feels off. He's taller than expected, hunched over, and moves in a strange, exaggerated way, wiggling his fingers and speaking in a low, unsettling voice. He greets them with "Hey boys," and when questioned about his odd skin, he invites Chester to touch it. He even asks if their parents are home, which raises an immediate red flag. Things escalate when Parker and Chester find Giggles in another part of the house, speaking to someone who isn't visible. After being told to leave, Giggles begins laughing hysterically, and splashes Parker with water before being forced out. However, the situation doesn't end there. 25 minutes later, Giggles is still outside. Hours later, footage reveals that he managed to re-enter the house and even invited another clown inside with him. The two block the camera, leaving Parker and Chester unaware of what happened inside or whether they even truly left. When the house is searched, no clowns are found, adding to the mystery and tension of the encounter. While Giggles presents himself as mischievous and clownish on the surface, his invasive behavior, strange speech, and ability to enter and move unseen make him far more unsettling than he initially appears. His similarities to Scratchy the Clown also raise questions about whether there's a large network behind these entities, or if this is simply a repeating pattern in these cases. After looking at all these cases tonight, one thing becomes clear. Most of these entities don't just attack randomly. They watch, they wait, they learn the layout of the house, and they always seem to move when no one else is around. Some of them hide in basements, some crawl through ceilings, some disguise themselves as pets, or even as people you trust. And what makes it even more disturbing is that in many of these situations, we never truly find out what they are, or where they go after they're discovered. Whether these creatures are human, something pretending to be human, or something else entirely, the pattern is always the same. Isolation, manipulation, and fear inside the one place you're supposed to feel safe in. Let me know which case disturbed you the most in the comments. If you want to see more investigations like this, make sure you subscribe, because there's a lot more strange encounters to uncover. And until next time, friends.